Welcome to Craft Soap with Gail T.C. Terry. I'm glad you're joining us again today. We've got a great craft idea for today. We're going to make some holiday cards using fabric, and you can use any fabric around your house. The other items you'll need are, of course, scissors. I have some fabric shears here, and then just regular paper cutting scissors. I also have just stick glue. You can use children's glue. It's something that will just temporarily hold your fabric. I'm also using Easy Steam too. And what this is like a fusible web that you can iron your items to and then iron them to your fabric. So I'm using a combination of that and the glue because some of the items I don't want too stiff. I also have a cutting board, and then I've already pre-cut some of my figures out that I'm going to be using on the cards, and I've already printed. I have cardstock paper, and I just used my regular color printer and printed Happy Holidays. And you can use this for any type of cards. It could be birthday cards. You can come up with some unique ideas. As you can see here, I've cut out some Christmas trees, I have some snow mountains, and again, I am using fabric that I already had. Some of this is from shirts, my husband's shirts, jeans, scraps of fabric from other projects, just a variety. And here's kind of a finished topping for a card. I used batting behind it to kind of give it the kind of snow effect, and also because I want that quilted look. So I created my own stencils and templates, and I just drew a Christmas tree. I folded it in half so I could cut a half tree, and they have slightly different shapes, but you can kind of come up with your own ideas. I just use templates first. What you'll see is I also have a lady and man dancing in one of the scenes, and I actually went on Pinterest and found a lady and man dancing, and then I just kind of traced out their bodies and cut into pieces where I could use different fabric and recreating just the image of a lady and man dancing. You'll see that at the end. So first I cut my fabric, and my fabric squares, I lined it up to make sure that it was just a little smaller than the cardstock once I folded it over. So I measured it against that and then cut it to those measurements. Here you see I created the snow mountains, and you can't really tell, but that fabric has a little glitter to it. And I'm just using the regular stick glue just to hold it in place, and it gives just enough glue to hold it in place. And if this were a quilt that you wash, you may have some concerns, but this is just going to be on a card, so you'll see I'll sew it later, but the glue will hold it in place just long enough. And you want to make sure that's nice and flat. And I did iron these prior to gluing them on, but it looks like a little wrinkle in the picture. Once you put that glue on, to help it adhere, you can just run a quick iron over it. It just helps that glue to heat and set in place. And now I'm adding my Christmas trees, or just trees, I should say, to the background. And again, you can play around with this. It doesn't have to be perfect. I like whimsical items, so I like it to look like it's fun and just easy. I don't stress out over it being that perfect. Everyone's different, but I like it to be a little whimsical. And I had a lighter and darker green. I just kind of paste one over top of the other. And again, just enough glue to hold it in place. Oops, I see that I put the tree on the wrong side, considering I put the glue on the one side of the other. That's the half tree. I think I showed you how I folded the stencil in half to create just to create a tree that would be on the edge. And again, I press those down and run the quick iron over it once again. Now I'm putting my figures together. I actually did use the Steam-A-Seam to cut out the figurines because I wanted that two-sided sticky for those. I just thought it would be easier to work with than trying to glue those down. And again, I use fabric from multiple sources. And there I'm showing you, you just peel off that paper. It sticks to one side and you peel it off. Once you iron it, it's set. Now the photos that I use as stencils, the guy didn't have boots on. I created boots for them being in the snow. The hat's a little big, so I'm going to resize that hat, but just kind of getting an idea for placement right now. And my figures do not have faces. I found a fabric that it has multi-shades to me. I call it multi-shades, skin shades. And I just use that for imagery, creating the face, but I don't actually add eyes. It's a great fabric. As soon as I saw it, I was like, wow, it looks like people around the world. So I just like that fabric to use when I'm developing characters. You see, I'm putting the lady dancing in her red dress. And again, I will peel the backs off and then stick them down. And they will hold temporarily. Once I iron them, then they're permanent. So I play around with it quite a bit. Make sure I have everything in place. And I'm just looking at it now and thinking the changes I need to make. And I realized that hat's too big. So I created another hat. It looked a little better, but I still thought it was a little big, so I go in and I kind of cut it a little bit and shape it up for the man. Maybe I should have made his head a little bigger. I don't know. But it all comes together in the end. So that's pretty much it. And I pulled off the backing, I pressed them down. And now I'm going back with some school glue because the edges of those trees, I'm just taking my finger and just brushing a tiny little bit of the school glue under there. I could use a stick glue, but for some reason I have a little bit of control because I don't want it too sticky. I can feel on my finger exactly how much I want, just enough to hold it down until I get to the sewing machine. Or hold it down until it's set, I should say. Instead of going to the sewing machine until it dries fully. Okay, and once that's laid, I'll put, a big heavy book on there overnight, let it dry, and then come back to it. Now here I'm gathering some batting. I was trying to see if I had some batting pieces that were large enough, but it didn't look like it, so I grabbed all of the batting and then cut out a piece. Now I will cut the batting to the edge of the card because I like the effect it gives, especially it being the holidays. It kind of gives the effect of snow being around the card. And like I said, I like stuff that's a little whimsical. I'm not sure if everyone gets me, but I like it this way. And I'm just making sure that the batting is cut square or rectangle, I should say. There are some straight edges there. And then I will set this on top of the bag and just make sure that I still have some showing around the edge of the picture. So again, I cut that rectangle a little smaller, and then the batting will exceed around the edges, just to give a nice effect. And here I'm showing the back of one that I've already done. I've already sewn this one, and you can see, like I said, I like whimsical, so doesn't have to be perfect. You get the image, the idea, the snow on the tree. And that's kind of how it will look in the end. I'll glue that onto the card, and then you have your holiday card, and it's something different. It's a keepsake card, so you can let the person know by writing that inside of the card. Now here I am using my free motion foot and kind of doing a free motion quilting on this. It's something I practice all the time. I'm not the best at it, but I'm getting better each time I do it. And for the way I do things, I like to do a dark outline. And again, you see that finished product? That's how it looks in the end. There are some other cards that I've done. And then the actual bird, I had a picture on some fabric and I used that. So I thought they turned out great. And as you see, I kind of outlined it, did some in white, some in black thread, and it doesn't have to be perfectly lined up. I love it that way. But thanks for joining me today. I hope you really enjoy making some cards in the future. Please subscribe, click the bell, and also don't forget to follow my blog. Thanks a lot. Have a great day. Bye for now.